Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My guest today is Emmanuel. He's a father and a husband and aspiring to become a renowned international speaker. Emmanuel has embraced a deep spiritual transformation to become the best version of himself, aligning with his passion for real estate. Welcome, Emmanuel, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very intrigued about your profile and everything you post. It seems so inspirational. So I would like to learn more about your story and what do you do? I also work in real estate. I do photography and videography. So it's kind of neat that we have that in common.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to share my story. Thank you so much. Yes, actually, my profile, my social media is all about spirituality and deep connection with the soul because that has a meaning. Since I was born in a Christian family, but as we know, it's a reflection of society. I was not never very happy and fulfilled inside of those communities because those communities weren't even connected with spirituality, even though they preach the word of God and all that stuff. And I found out that later on in life, I didn't realize. Um, my parents got divorced when I was 5 years old, and I lived with my father for a long time. But the situation was my father was a very unstable person in his personality. Today, I understand totally different perspective about my father, and so he was taking us to church. So but at home it was a living hell, living in with my siblings and my father. So I was always linking pain going to church, because if my father goes to church and we go home, that's the result. I don't want that for my life. So fast forward, when I was 12 years old, I moved to live with my mom. When I was 17 years old, I had this spiritual breakthrough from a community that came from Brazil. We had this kind of boot camp. It's a 3 days. We just separated from just only men. And that moment, for those 3 days, I had a spiritual encounter with God. And as a 17 years old, just a little kid, from Friday to Sunday, my life was totally radical, transformed. Was not 360, was 1,000%. From on Sunday, I was a totally different person. Yes, I had that experience, which I understood later on what I'm going to talking about. It's about having an encounter with your spirituality, in my case, with God. And one thing is, afterwards, going through the process of healing to become to know that God. That's totally different. That's like a relationship. We know somebody that we get amazed by him. It's an amazing person. But in the process of that relationship, while you heal and while you get connected with that person, you fall in love with that person. I understood that 20 years later. It was a long process, but I was really excited. Something was really transforming my heart. And the only question I did was only this. I wasn't doing nothing spiritual, but in that really moment, the most spiritual thing I had was a vulnerability and honesty and transparency of my heart. That's all God needed. And I said, God, what these people is saying, if you're real, just touch my heart. The rest is history. Because on Sunday, 3 days after, everything changed. Monday, I'm back to life, normal life. I changed all my friends. I put everything in the trash that does not allow me. I was already doing like coach stuff and mindset. I didn't realize, but I said, so I have this goal to know to get to know more about God, to get to know about spirituality. So everything that is not helping me to get to that goal, you go to the trash. My everything, music, everything, books, everything that takes me out of that, I set aside. I was so radical. Even my siblings was mocking me and making fun of me in the beginning, but it was so radical. So um, fast forward, I got married when I was 20 years old. And but through the process of 20 years old until I was 29, I went through a deep from this deep depression. Not just depression, was trying to find out what I'm doing here. It's I went start I start doing more deeper questions, And inside of me, even though I was even preaching and I was playing, because I'm a musician, I play a lot of instruments, I wasn't having that fulfillment. Why? Okay, I'm doing this, but I don't have this live inside of me. When I was 29, yes, I will get a speaker from South Africa, and he spoke about a very deep message about a deep relationship with Jesus Christ, and how the finished work of Christ would allow us to bring a new nature and become as he said we could become. In other words, for a more general public, it's about understanding that we have greatness within us, that we have potential and dreams, and we can achieve those dreams as long as we are willing to go through the process and be transformed and to that person that those dreams require. And for the first time in my life, through those preaching for 3 days as well, all these 3 days, I don't know why, that man changed my heart again. It was God through him. So, and that had start my really growth from 29. I'm 41 right now. That's the journey I'm sharing on social media every time, because the true growth start happening. Why? Because I had to make a very hard decision, and it's not possible to go through the process without making hard decisions. So the reason I'm sharing all these things on social media, it's everything I have been gone through, every process of healing and the knowledge experience I'm getting. So I feel the urge, and I think it's natural from all of us. When we grow, when we heal, we want to share with others, because it comes from a place of transformation. And when we have it, it's like we're doing for ourselves first, and we're doing to serve the world, to help others to go and overcome their own struggles. So that's why I share on social media all these things. It's all this process of getting to know more about who I am deep inside, and overcoming a lot of struggles, and finding out my purpose through my connection with spirituality.
Yes, and this is so beautiful, like the way you explained it. And I think I know what you mean, like the gift that, God gave you, and basically you feel the need to share it, right? Like you want to share with other people what you discovered, hopefully that, hoping that that's gonna help them to discover who they are. And that's such a good thing. And honestly, I wanted to say that. I applaud you for the fact that you are aspiring to become an international speaker. And because I'm also like English is my second language, and I kind of struggled with the idea of like having a podcast, right? Because I was like, how am I going to be able to speak, and are people going to understand me? Is my English good enough? So there's so many, self-doubt can stop you sometimes from doing certain things. And I think if you just go ahead and do them, even if you fail or you're not great at the beginning, it's just amazing that you are doing this. And I hope you're going to be very successful. So far, it looks like you are quite successful with the shares you are doing on social media, and I hope you keep doing that, because I love the message that you are spreading.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I applaud you as well for starting your podcast. That's amazing, a big step. And I wish you as well the same, that your podcast goes and spread the message that you really have in your heart.
And thank you. Yes, like my whole account, when I started the Instagram account, I was very focused on positivity and faith.
Wow.
And I kind of learned that, I published a book, my great grandfather journal, and he was a prisoner of war. And when you read his inscriptions from, 100 years ago, and you see how grateful he was, and how
Oh,
his love for God got him through everything he's been through, and the love for his family and for his country that kept him alive, when odds were against him, and tens of thousands
wow.
of people died and he survived. So um, that really inspired me. That's why I even created the prayer journal, the gratitude journal, because I thought, if he can have such an impact 100 years later, on people's lives, I thought that it's worth sharing, his story, because it's so inspirational. Like you can read that book and say, oh, my life it's so bad, like you realize that you do have to be grateful for everything because it can be a lot worse.
It just remind me the story of the man searching for meaning from Viktor Frankl, because he was in the Second World War. He was a prisoner, and the story about the book is not about just the struggles. It's about keeping a positive attitude and never giving up of life. So wow, I'm honored, to be honest.
Yeah, so for me, that was a great source of inspiration, to start this journey. And as I said,
Mhm.
that's why I started this Instagram account. That's why I share what I share, because I believe that, people sometimes they need to be uplifted. If I can share my positivity with some other people, and, sometimes it helps me every day, when I post something, maybe I relate to it and I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm so happy. If I relate to it, then others must too, right? And if it helps me, it should help others. And I love to see that when people get engaged and they are uplifted. That's the reward.
And you have your why, which most of people they struggle to find their why in life, and you got it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, I struggled all my life. I always joked. I have nieces and nephews. They are teenagers now. They're, almost 18 years old, and I was keep telling them throughout the years, like, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, And I'm like in my late 30s, and but I think I finally found it. And honestly, I think just be consistent and keep doing it, because it might not seem that you are going anywhere today, but if you're going to look back a year from now, you're going to be amazed how far you have come, right?
Yes, it's true. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because I'm
Yeah.
sure you're going to do amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I also wanted to ask you, what's your definition for success? How do you define success, and how can you achieve it?
I have different definitions for success, but I like the one that Earl Nightingale said. It was the mentor of Bob Proctor. He said, "Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal." And I love this, and he stick with this for all his life because he realized he was trying to find the meaning of success. And it's one of my favorites ever, from Earl Nightingale. But I got my own realization as well. Success for me is you finding your purpose in life and aligning yourself through the process of transformation to become the person those dreams require to you to become. When you achieve that, we become really successful. I believe that we can become successful when we are on the path of our purpose, on the path that align us to become the person we have to become. So whether is whatever people he's in the business, it might be spirituality and preacher or speaker or whatever it is, people find out that, because that's the hardest thing, to dig deep inside of us and to find those answers and find and have that clarity, because it takes so much from every human being: courage, determination, resilience, persistence. But when we find it, we get into that point and level in life here inside of us, which will make us really successful and distinct from the majority of people. So for me, success is finding your purpose through the process of transformation. That's why I love the word grace in the original Greek. That means grace is a divine influence upon man's heart. It means whatever people believe, it's that there is no way to skip this process of transforming your heart, aligning yourself with your divine nature. And while you are aligning yourself with your divine nature through the process of healing, discovering yourself, and working towards your purpose, that's the moment we find true success, in my opinion. It's when we have this heart transformation and align ourselves with our purpose. Because many people in life, they can achieve a lot of things. Never forget that. I never forgot this in my life. Never forget what I'm going to say. The world applauds your achievements, but God applauds your sacrifices.
Wow.
Those sacrifices that you make to become the person you have to become, that's true success. So we see a lot of people very successful in life, but deep inside they feel horrible, and they feel the most horrible persons in the world. I know even in Dubai here, right, we have a lot of successful people, and I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. Many of them, they have millions, they have billions, but when they put their head in the pillow at night, they feel miserable with themselves because they did not understand the real wealth in life, the currency in life, has nothing to do with something outside, has to do with something inside. And many people that are not willing to go through the process because it's the hardest. The easiest thing is to make money. The easiest thing is to make money in this world. But the hardest thing is to go deep inside in the depths of your heart and of your soul and deal with those things that has to be dealt to set you free from so many things that are holding you back. So many people don't understand this. I'm blessed that I understood this, and I'm grateful to God for being set free from all these inner demons and struggles that we all know.
Yes, for sure. And I think uh, you do have to find that drive, like you said, that why you are doing this, like what's your why. So when you find it, you're right. It's very like you feel relieved, right? And you're on the right path, even if you're not there yet. And I don't think you'll ever be there, I think it's a journey, and you just have to enjoy the process and learn, like you said, along the way, and other things will come, like in the end, God will provide. And sometimes you can't grow if you don't go through struggles. I don't think anyone can say, oh, I'm perfectly happy and my life has been, honey and sweet. But, you know, everyone has their own struggle. Like you said, you may have all the money in the world, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily happy. You just have to find
Yeah.
that balance in between. So um, I wanted to ask you also if you have an interesting story that you would like to share.
Yes, actually, I have a lot of different stories that are very, very interesting. Mostly, the first one I shared was when I was 17 years old. The second one when I was 29 years old. And the other one I want to share is very practical. And this story is about back in 2016 when I lost 34 kilos. And it was a real achievement for me because I struggled for 20 years or 15 years to lose weight. And the thing is, one that was not just about the weight lost, was about stepping out from my comfort zone. As a very shy person, I decided to become a life coach on fitness. And back in years, it will be impossible for me. So I went to United States, which I lived there for 4 or 5 years. I went to United States. I make my certification of Insanity Life from Beachbody, and I became a life coach. It was one of the biggest achievements in my life, not just because of financial, but because here, because the way I was seeing myself before was even like a loser. I will never achieve amount anything in life. And just by having the thought, the thing is, I want people to think when God talk to us in different ways, and those prompts that come to our hearts and they keep persisting, it's like God talking to you. And the problem is, as I said the other day in my Instagram reel, we do the wrong question. We do when we have these suggestions, imaginations, and feelings and prompts in our heart because of our self-worth. I'm telling you, 95% of people I talked, because I was there and I'm still going on the process. Our self-worth is so low. We don't believe that we are worthy of those things. So we keep questioning ourselves if we are worthy of those imaginations, of those dreams, of those things that that we desire and keep coming to our heart. It's like God saying, it's yours. It's yours already. I'm sent beforehand, and that is yours already. And but we don't believe. We don't believe. And when I start having these prompts of suggestions, I was, oh, that nah, that's too much for me. Becoming a life coach of the most famous fitness platform in the United States, it's impossible. I was like telling myself, but at the same time, I was losing a lot of weight, and I went to United States. I just did this. I went to United States, Atlanta, Georgia, to a Brazilian community because we speak the same language. And I said, I'm going to take the risk. I was so afraid, but I'm going to post on social media my picture before and after as I dominate these exercises by heart. I'm going to start doing, even without certification, whatever it happens, whatever it takes. So I post the picture before and after, and that's all. It was like I start being spammed in a good way by calls, by messages. I want the same, I want the same, I want the same. I start giving classes. I went to St. Petersburg in Florida to make my certification. And I came back to Georgia and I start giving classes and become a local celebrity with social media as a fitness coach and all that stuff. And I tell you, even though I can achieve 10 million euros or dollars or dirhams as I'm in Dubai in life, that achievement is going to be one of the biggest ever I had in my life, you know, because of what it took mentally for me to overcome, to become that. It was a real deal. But I was so proud of myself. Like I was looking into the mirror and I said, "Ah, you did it. Thank God, you did it. You were able to do that. And now you are giving classes to all this Brazilian community." So that's a very interesting story.
Oh, I love it. It's very inspirational too. And I also lost a lot of weight the last couple of years. When I moved to Canada, my diet and my lifestyle changed a lot. So I gained weight and I lost 30 kilograms too. So I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, and it's also work after, right? Like it's not just
Yes,
losing the weight, but the mental part and keeping it
yes,
off and keep working on yourself, right? Because
yes.
it's not guaranteed it's gonna stay off if you don't do the work. So
Correct, correct.
yeah, that's awesome. And we're talking about some things earlier, and you were telling me you are working on some new projects. Would you like to
Yeah,
share that?
yeah. So as I told you, one of them is one of the most amazing projects that God life has gracing me to be part of it with a very special person. The world will know about 1 month from now, I guess. But right now is still on the secrets of how do I say that? It's still in secret. Um, it's the project. It's a collaboration in which I'm working on, in which will allow me to step out from is allowing me to step out from my comfort zone and do things that I never done before. But I accept the challenge, and I it's bringing fulfillment and bringing me a new sense of purpose in life. And that's when I feel this from my. I'm not just doing it. I'm doing for something else to make me a different person and to give me even more skillful and to the in the marketplace to be more valuable to deliver more different quality of service, you know. So what I'm doing, I cannot go through details right now, but it's perhaps one of the most important projects in my entire life. And the other one I'm involving, which it's my personal, which podcast. I'm starting my speaking business and going all over places and start talking. And what we have shared about my passion for spirituality and for discovering our true identity and talking about in different places when I have the possibility talking about my faith and my discovering in my relationship with Jesus. So it depends of the place I'm going to be sharing something. And the other project in real estate, which I'm really excited, even though it's not official yet because of certain things, I was chosen by, and I'm blessed for that. I was chosen by some entrepreneurs that come from different places in the world to try to bring one of the biggest projects in real estate in the UAE, which has to do with the projects with it calls Perfume City, which the concept they have, it has to do with the concept of bringing a project where the headquarters of the most powerful and most important brands in the world will be here in Dubai, and we'll build a city based on the concept of the perfumes. So perhaps this is one of the most excited things that I've been in. In the beginning, I will tell you, to be very honest, I was doing the wrong question because such a huge project I was doing. I am worthy of this. Before, I don't know if I mentioned, then you can check on the recording, because I was telling sometimes we do the wrong question. I am worthy of these dreams, but you should do the right question is these dreams worthy of us? Because we are the highest form of creation. There is nothing else that God created that is more worthy than us. So everything else, whatever it is, $1 trillion, 20 Bugattis, 20 mansions, or whatever it is in life, nothing of that can get closer to the potential of worthiness that you are as a child of God. So when we start changing that perspective about, we start changing the questions we do when opportunities comes to our lives. So it's like, are these dreams, these opportunities first aligned with my what I really want to do? If it's worthy of me, it's really worthy. And this is not being prideful. Actually, it's being humble, because the more we align with our true nature, we become more humble. When you understand the source of everything in life, no? So the more we are bold and we dare to do the question, if this dream is worthy of us, the more we'll open to possibilities. And it just shows how humble we are. And that's the opposite of sometimes people think that we're being prideful. No, we are being humble. So I start doing the question, is this dream worthy of me? So this is one of the most excited projects. It's still in the early stages, and I'm looking forward for. So I have these three personal and two professionals, and as well I'm in these personal physical transformation, as I'm sharing on social media. So personal, professional are those right now that I'm involved, and I'm really excited and grateful to God and to life for these opportunities.
That's so amazing, and I'm so happy to hear that you are growing all together on all this, like spiritually, physically, mentally. It's great, to find yourself and uh, to have that drive that we were talking about earlier. It's so inspiring and so uplifting to hear someone, knowing what they want to do. Because most people, when you ask them what they want to do or if they have any plans for the future, they stumble and they don't know what to say because, like you said, they have that belief that I'm not worthy enough. I'm not going to do it because what if I fail? But they don't realize that you have to fail 100 times before you succeed.
Oh,
And
yes,
and I
for
think with
sure.
yeah, and I think with social media, unless you do it, posting and speaking and trying different things, you are never gonna know what it works and what it doesn't, and you won't open up. Like the more you do it, the more comfortable you are, right? And
Correct. Yes, yes.
yeah,
I
you'll
have
never. Yeah.
so I had a million of failures. And even when I start being interviewed for podcasts, you have no idea how many times I stumbled by talking. And but I understood it's a process. I'm going to learn. I'm going to improve, of course. But yeah, it's just doing. Just do it. We just have to do it, and we will improve while we're doing, because we will never be ready. It's through the process that we improve and get better. So we just need to take action.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Like when I did my first podcast, the introduction and stuff, I was like so stressed out, and I could barely speak. Like inside, I was like in flames. On the outside, maybe it didn't look that bad, but the more I do it, the more relaxed I am, and trying to figure which way this podcast is gonna go, which format, you know, should it be more professional, more formal, or so I'm still finding my way with this, but that's okay. Who knows where I'm gonna be in a year with this? So
It's like Her Nightingale said, it's a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And then he gives the example. So we are on the ground floor, right? So if you want to see the beauty of the city, of the landscape around us, we have to go and progress, go up. And the more we go up, the more clarity we have and the vision is get more larger and clear. So what incentivates people, it's like just progressing as you're doing. And the more we progress, the more clarity we're going to have about it.
yeah. And honestly, the one thing that I love the most about doing a podcast is the fact that I get to meet people from all over the world and connect with people on social media, and like all the support I've been receiving, like it's so amazing. I would have never dreamt, I was like, I'm gonna launch it and no one is gonna listen or engage, and it's gonna be lame. But honestly, like the last month, it's been so incredible, and I'm very grateful, for all the support I've received and all the people I get to meet and get to tell their stories. But I think that's such a blessing. Um, yeah,
That's really amazing. That's really amazing. That's the beauty of the process of the journey, right? And that
absolutely.
keeps us moving forward. It gives us that boost to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and you grow. Like you get to learn something from everyone. Some people are more spiritual, like yourself. Other guests are more on the financial part, and they can teach you,
Yeah,
about discipline and how to become financially independent. And others, about business or personal relationships. So I also like to interview authors, that have written books and about where they can talk about their journey and how they got there. So that's why I'm kind of keeping it open with the podcast. It's entrepreneurs, writers, anyone that has something interesting to tell, and obviously everything about positivity. I love positive
that's amazing.
stories.
That's amazing.
Um, for the end of this podcast, I wanted to ask you if are there any lessons that you would like the audience to take away from this episode?
One of the most important things, that's a really good question. One of the most important things, because it was one of the things I struggled the most, is what I learned from Les Brown. Never let someone's opinion of you become your reality, because the environment you are in, it will shape the person you will become. And don't be afraid to take risks, because God's rewards the risk takers with abundance of grace. And when I say with abundance of grace, practically is for every single step you get out from your comfort zone, everything in every single step, you will have everything you need in life. Is God's rewards you for taking risks. Take risks. Take risks requires sacrifice. But the sacrifice and the seeds of sacrifice, you do it now, it's going to be the harvest of your freedom later on when you are living your dreams. But we are got to be willing, and don't be afraid to take risks and trust the process. Enjoy the process, because true happiness is not found when you achieve your goal, it's through the process by the person you become. Be bold. Don't be afraid. I can tell from a place of authenticity. Be bold in taking risks, because they are all worthy. It's not easy, but the price and the reward, the price you pay for the risks you take as very small compared with the reward of the results you're gonna get. So never let someone else's opinions become your reality, because it's only their opinion about themselves, not about you. So when you have this desire to take risks, And if it's something that is in your heart and you believe it's something that you want to do it in your life, just do it. Just do it. Because most people will try to hold you back. So just go after it. And I'm talking from a position where my risk taker is the level is very high. I had to learn to balance as well with not logic, but with wisdom as well and experience. So I paid a high price for sometimes taking too much risks, but at the same time, I became such a person through that process. And one thing I want people to know, whether they believe God's, whatever, God or some sort of energy, or they have a totally different religion, life is always working for you. And that's where God's grace comes. It's even in your mistakes, even in your worst mistakes. Life is set up at a certain way that even in your mistakes is already a supply or something happening in you to teach you to make you a totally different person. And if you were not making those mistakes, you will not become the person you will become. And that's priceless, and that's undeserved favor of God, of life. Because even in our mistakes, God sees your heart and life and all the process, how he set up the laws of universe. It's always, and I remember this, I will never forget. And I'll finish with this. Life does not prevent the strong from winning, but the weak from losing.
Wow. Such an amazing share. Like, I'm so grateful that I was able to sit with you and learn so many things about you and about your journey. And I'm hoping others will find inspiration in this also.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for sharing a little bit about your story and about your grandfather's story. It inspired me. I got a little bit emotional when I was listening to it because I was remember the book "Man Searching for Meaning" and how the story of that book is like it's been for eight years. The story of that book pursuing me like crazy with obsession. So I decided to read the book and really impacted. He's been impacting my life so well, so much, and listening to your grandfather's story, it made me emotional because it's very powerful for sure. And then you are following his legacy. It makes me think the impact we can have in generations to come. It's not about just Friday or something else to expose ourselves, to brand ourselves, and to do something for the people to know who we are. No, it's bigger than us. Your grandfather was doing something that was bigger than him, and through his struggles, through all the experience and the person he has become, he inspired you to do what you're doing now. And that's the meaning and true success of life. That's the meaning of life. And I'm really happy to be here and be sharing with you and listening from you too.
Oh, thank you so much. Now you made me all emotional with with this. But the way I see it with his story is, I think he's the voice of tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands, that went through that. And there are so many stories from the Second World War. He was in the First World War as a prisoner. So we don't know enough about that. And that's why I always say he's the anonymous soldier. Either put the name to the book or you don't, it doesn't matter. The way I connect with people when I do book signings or events is everyone reads the back of the book and they're like, oh, wow, this is so amazing. And they start sharing about their life experience and their great grandfather or great uncle or some other family member that went to war, right? And they went through the same thing. And it's so amazing because that's how you connect with people, through stories.
Yeah,
I love the fact that I can share that with them and I can also learn about their stories. So,
that's so amazing. It's so amazing.
yeah, okay. Thank you so much. It was really nice to chat with you, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch and we'll see more of, on social media.